What if I told you that everything you believe you know about Jim Jones and Chrissy is a complete lie? Yes, you heard me correctly. What if I told you that Camron, the same Camron we all know, destroyed everything they had built in one move? He entered that courtroom and tore apart their idyllic little world, and I promise you won't believe the secrets he just revealed. But here's the twist. Jim Jones, the man who believed he was untouchable and that we all believed he couldn't do anything wrong, lost it all in front of the world. He stood there exposed as the walls collapsed around him, and Chrissy, you won't even recognize her after this. What happens when the people you trust turn on you in the most public way possible? When everything you've worked so hard to build comes crashing down, this isn't just another celebrity scandal, it's the scandal of the year. Are you prepared to have your mind blown? Stay put, because this is just the beginning. Do you really believe that Chrissy was the mastermind behind all of this? Jim Jones didn't realize the truth is far worse than you think, and Camron just pulled back the curtain on a scandal that will leave you stunned. Everyone seemed to be waiting for the next piece of the puzzle to fall into place, wondering if Melly would walk free or if the evidence against him would be too overwhelming. The video footage that had surfaced was a game changer, but it didn't provide the clarity everyone had hoped for. It was blurry and inconclusive, showing two figures in a car that could have been Melly and his alleged co-conspirator Bortland, but the lack of specifics made it impossible to establish who they were. The defense team seized on this uncertainty, arguing that the footage was too ambiguous to have any real weight in court. They claimed that it was just another attempt to cast doubt on the jury and confuse them, a tactic meant to influence public opinion rather than provide a factual account of the events. However, the prosecution wasn't backing down either. They pounced on the footage, pointing out that even though it might not be crystal clear, it still placed Melly at the scene at a crucial time. What was even more concerning, for as if things couldn't get any worse, Bortland Melly's longtime friend and co-defendant finally made his move. Rumors had been circulating for weeks about a potential plea deal, and now it was confirmed by former associates that Melly had made veiled threats prior to the murders. According to them, Melly had expressed anger and frustration about being betrayed, and some even asserted that he had threatened to take matters into hands if things didn't go his way. The courtroom was on fire, and the tension was palpable as Portland's defense team confirmed that he was negotiating with the prosecution for a reduced sentence in exchange for testimony against Melly. This was a devastating blow to Melly's case because Bortland had been the last line of defense for his story, and now that he might flip, the prosecution had an insider with intimate knowledge of the events leading up to the murders. Would this be the end of Melié's defense? Was his best friend about to betray him for a lighter sentence? The Free Melly movement appeared to be waning as more and more people began to doubt Melly's innocence, and sentence fans were in shock. However, it didn't end there. A whistleblower, a former member of Melié's inner circle, came forward and claimed to have direct knowledge of Melié's involvement in the murders. The whistleblower, who was given anonymity for their protection, claimed to have been present during the aftermath of the killings, to have seen Melly discarding evidence, and to have had private conversations with Melly about the specifics of the murders. A leaked recording of a conversation between Melly and his lawyer that hinted at a plea deal came as the final blow. The whistleblower's testimony was explosive and seemed to confirm the worst fears of those who believed Melly was guilty. The defense, of course, attempted to discredit the whistleblower by claiming that they were just a bitter ex-associate looking for attention and money. But the testimony and the growing list of witnesses against Melly were beginning to paint a troubling picture. Discussed the possibility of entering a guilty plea to lesser charges, avoid a life sentence. The recording was devastating because if Melly was really considering a plea deal, it would indicate that he was willing to admit guilt, which could be enough to permanently change the jury's verdict. The prosecution did not waste any time in using the recording as evidence that Melly knew he was guilty, and that he was attempting to avoid the consequences of his actions by striking a deal. The defense, of course, denied the recording's authenticity, but by that point, the damage had been done, and the public was now doubting every aspect of Melié's case. Meanwhile, some of Melié's supporters were still rallying. As the trial of Will Melly Walk Free entered its final stages, the question on everyone's mind was simple. Would Melly walk free or face life in prison? The legal drama was now a global spectacle, and the media outlets couldn't get enough of it. Social media exploded with every new update, every new leak, and every new twist in the case. While some people behind him claimed that the system was rigged against him, and that he was the victim of a massive conspiracy. Others began to feel the weight of the evidence against him. The world appeared to be watching for the final verdict on whether Mellie was guilty or innocent. But even as the case reached its climax, the most shocking development of all occurred when Mellie took the stand in defense during the trial's final stages. His testimony was emotional, as he denied any involvement in the murders and insisted that he was innocent. He, his upbringing, his struggles, and how he had always tried to do the right thing. The moment was intensely personal and emotional, and it appeared to sway some of the courtroom. But was it enough? This case had changed everything. The story of Y.W. Mellie wasn't just about a murder trial. It was about a system, a celebrity, and the world of fame and fortune colliding in ways no one had ever expected. The stage was set for the final act, and the world would soon find out as the trial came to a close. The jury deliberated, and everyone held their breath, wondering if Mellie would be found guilty or walk free as a free man again, despite the overwhelming evidence against him. We're going to learn about a full-scale public meltdown, because the drama between Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampkin isn't just about personal betrayal. Oh no, this is a full-scale public meltdown. Let's explore the mess that's making waves on social media and beyond. When Camron took the stand, he wasn't just talking about financial manipulation or controlling relationships. He exposed an empire built on lies, deception, and manipulation. However, the public is unaware of everything because Camron didn't reveal all of his secrets in court. Instead, he has been allowing them to come out one by one, and they are gradually destroying Jim and Chrissy's relationship. We discovered from the court documents that Camron allegedly possessed documents that are currently in the hands of investigative reporters that, for starters, Jim wasn't even the only one who made decisions regarding his career and finances. Chrissy, yes, the woman all the strings behind the scenes. Jim may have been the one in front of the cameras rapping and entertaining the audience at his concerts. But when it came to the money and the real wealth they were amassing, Chrissy's hands were all over it. She was allegedly the mastermind behind everything that had to do with their business dealings. And we're talking about more than just a couple endorsement deals here. We're talking about offshore accounts, shell companies, and a network of hidden assets that only a select few knew about. When he began discussing the negative aspects of their relationship, according to anonymous sources familiar with the matter, Chrissy wasn't only in charge of Jim's finances, she was also involved in managing his public image. Every decision he made and every agreement he signed was carefully planned by Chrissy to preserve the image of the ideal couple they had developed over the years. Now, let's discuss the money laundering component of this situation, because believe me, it's a big deal. Allegedly revealed that Jim and Chrissy had engaged in some dubious financial transactions. By dubious, I mean that money intended for their business was being transferred into shell corporations through hidden accounts and even used for personal expenses unrelated to their careers. The worst part is that this was a well-planned scheme to conceal their wealth and keep it out of the public eye, and Camron wasn't going to let them get away with it. He revealed everything in that courtroom, including Chrissy's manipulation of Jim and the financial schemes they had been operating in the background, and guess what? It didn't stop there. According to those same unnamed sources, the couple's dark secrets began at the beginning of their manipulative relationship. Chrissy had been using Jim as a pawn in her complex game to gain wealth and power. This wasn't just a love affair gone wrong. It was a planned plot to Jim's life and future. Additionally, it should be noted that Jim Jones isn't just any celebrity. He is a rapper, a businessman, and a well-known figure in the hip-hop community. In a tragic way, it's almost poetic. Jim worked hard to build his career and made a name for himself. But behind closed doors, Chrissy was subtly making decisions that would affect their financial future and control his every move. But wait, this isn't over yet. The situation isn't just about relationship drama or financial manipulation. It's about public perception, and that's where things get. As soon as Camron revealed the truth about what was truly happening, the public had a field day on social media, with fans turning against Jim and Chrissy in a way they had never seen before. The internet was ablaze, with everyone from hip-hop fans to onlookers researching every dubious move they had made. People began asking, was everything we saw on TV just a lie? Was their relationship all for show? Camron said that the answer was yes, but then came the part that really hit home. Jim Jones was no longer in control. After the courtroom revelations were made public, his empire began to fall apart, and no one knew who to trust anymore. Even his closest supporters began to turn away, wondering if they had fallen for the carefully crafted lies by Chrissy. The betrayal was real, and the damage was undeniable, but the question that everyone has about Jim's future is where he will go from here. The truth is that the damage caused by these revelations may be irreversible. Yes, Jim is a fighter and a survivor, but this isn't just about a feud with Camron or some made-up drama for TV. It's about his entire public image being destroyed by someone he trusted most. And worse, he's lost control of the narrative, with the public now doubting everything he has ever said and done. We're just scratching the surface. The public fallout is just getting started. Trust me, this isn't going to be a short-lived scandal. The more people talk about it, the more secrets will come to light. So buckle up, because this roller coaster is just getting started. Keep an eye on things, because after everything that's been revealed, Chrissy isn't exactly winning any popularity contests. Fans and even some of her friends are beginning to see her for who she truly is, and the backlash will only get worse. Jim Jones's public image is in ruins. He went from being a respected figure in the hip-hop community to being the target of ridicule and gossip in the blink of an eye. You know how the internet operates. One mistake, one leak, one shocking revelation, and it's like you're just a hashtag. The scandal and the public chaos. Let's talk about the aftermath, because that's where things get even more intense. The courtroom drama, lies, and financial secrets are just the beginning of the real consequences that are just beginning to unfold. Even worse, people are no longer supporting him, which is difficult to recover from when your entire career has been based on loyalty, street cred, and respect. Having your closest supporters turn against you is like having your back stabbed. But here's the worst part. His career isn't just personal, it's also professional. His music isn't even making an impression on the charts, his brand is struggling, his tours have been cut back, and ticket sales are far lower than they once were. Nobody wants to be associated with a man who is now publicly perceived as weak, manipulated, and possibly involved in shady activities. And let's face it, it's no longer just about being a rapper with a few hits. It's about surviving the damage to your name. And trust me, this is going to take a toll. Jim won't easily recover from this kind of scandal. In fact, if you thought her involvement in this drama was going to fly under the radar, think again. Since nobody in the hip-hop industry wants to be the next one exposed for doing business with a fraud, what happens when you lose your reputation and career? You lose everything, or at the very least, all the control you thought you had. The worst part is that, although she may have initiated all of this, she is now being revealed as the true mastermind behind the deceit and manipulation. According to sources, Chrissy was allegedly running the show behind the scenes, pulling strings and using Jim as a puppet in a larger game of manipulation. Although she may have fooled the public for the fallout years, she is now the one facing the music, and her reputation is collapsing more quickly than a house of cards. Speaking of some serious insider information, the backlash against Chrissy is intense. Fans are demanding answers and calling for her to be held accountable for the way she managed Jim's finances and career. And let's not even get started on the internet trolls who are having a field day. Chrissy Exposed is trending, and every tweet, meme, and comment serves as a reminder that the public is done with her. She is no longer viewed as the devoted girlfriend supporting her man. Instead, she has been portrayed as a con artist who exploited their relationship for personal gain. The courtroom drama revealed personal secrets, but it also raised serious legal red flags. We're talking about possible financial fraud, money laundering, and manipulation of business deals. And when the law starts sniffing around, you can bet your bottom dollar that things will get messy. According to anonymous sources, there are ongoing investigations into the couple's financial dealings, and authorities are reportedly looking into possible money laundering schemes, offshore accounts, and hidden assets. These aren't just accusations being made in the media, though. According to sources close to the situation, Chrissy is already planning to distance herself from Jim. You know what Chrissy's next move means? When the chips are down and the chips are down, the first person to jump ship is usually the one who's been pulling the strings. If the allegations are true, we could be looking at some serious charges like tax evasion and even criminal conspiracy. This is not a small matter, folks. Own empire. But what happens if her empire starts to fail? You can bet that she does, and that's the next stage of the fallout. Sources are already stating that things are becoming ugly behind the scenes. Isn't just a personal breakup. It's a public and professional split that will have long-lasting effects on the couple's financial affairs, business ventures, and relationship. The tension is growing every day, so what does mean for Jim and Chrissy's future? Well, we know one thing for certain. It will be a long and bumpy road that no one will ever get through. Let's put an end to now. Chrissy and Jim thought they could fool everyone, but they only fooled themselves. What's happening now isn't just about a failed relationship. It's about an empire built on lies and manipulation, and we're all watching as it all comes crashing down. The public is focused on everything they do, so they better be prepared for what's coming next, because the truth always finds a way to come out, and in this case, it's already exposed for the world to see. This concludes today's explosive story. But trust me, we're not done yet. We're just getting started. The drama, the lies, the betrayal. This saga is far from over, and you know you want to be the first to know what happens next, so here's your chance to join the conversation. Do you think Jim Jones will recover from this massive scandal? Can Chrissy salvage her reputation, or has she lost it all? Only time will tell, but one thing is for sure. This scandal isn't going away anytime soon. We're always digging deep to bring you the real stories you won't find anywhere else. So don't hold back and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Let's see who's still on their side and who's ready to cancel them both. I know you have strong opinions on this one, so don't forget to like this video. If you're shaken by all the twists and turns we've uncovered today, it's about time the truth came out, right? Hey, if you want more juicy exposés like this one, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications. More insane than this, you won't. Not wanting to miss a moment of it.